The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Welcome to WVTC TV Network, capturing family moments in real time, bringing families closer together from the comforts of home. We are unleashing something different to the world. Start your subscription today for the low price of $4.99 per month or $55 annually. Go to www.wvtctvnetwork.com to sign up today. WVTC TV Network is streaming live on 8 different platforms. You can easily download the WVTC TV Network app on the Apple Store, Play Store, Roku, Fire TV, and more. Here at WVTC TV, we have access to movies that everyone can enjoy, including independent films, Sons of a Preacher and a Good Thing, Treasures of Life, the epic drama, The Passion of the Christ, and the box office hit Madagascar Escape to Africa. Remember, go to www.wvtctvnetwork.com and sign up today.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Live Dream Survivors Incorporated show. My show is, we're going to talk about different topics of domestic violence abuse. That's what this show is really about, helping getting information out about domestic violence abuse and different types of domestic violence abuse. And also, I would like to also talk about my nonprofit that specializes in helping domestic violence abuse people, women, and children. And so the name of my nonprofit is Live Dream Survivors Incorporated. And Live Dream Survivor, we're dedicated to helping women and children move forward, empowering them to live and dream again. Our mission is to support women in reclaiming their lives and dreams that may have felt stolen during their fight to survive. We want them to know they are more than survivors. They have a purpose, a future, and a right to dream again. We also strive to help children understand that what happened was not their fault and that despite their circumstances, they have a purpose and a bright future ahead. I would say that would be for the women and the children. Live Dream Survivors is here to restore hope, rebuild confidence, and inspire a new beginning for women and children that have experienced domestic violence abuse. A little short testimony from myself. I am a survivor of an abusive relationship. During that time, I felt trapped, unsure of how to escape. I can honestly say that there were moments when I didn't want to live, but I had to. For my children, in the midst of surviving, I lost sight of my dreams and goals. Um, I prayed and I asked God what was the purpose in taking me through all this drama that I had to go through. And in 2019, God placed in my heart to help women and children who have experienced abuse. Um, if you've never been through it, it's hard to understand the deep trauma that comes with it. That's why my team and I are committed to creating a safe space for women and their children who are ready to break free. We want to guide them toward the next steps in reclaiming their lives, helping them find healing, hope, and the strength to move forward. And also, LDS, we also offer support with job placement, housing, counseling to help them rebuild their lives. Um, I also would like to thank uh, Reverend Morris and his team, the WVTC family, for allowing me this opportunity to come on here and to have a discussion about different types of domestic violence abuse. I'm currently waiting on one of my team members that will be working alongside with me. Um, that will be working alongside with me with um, the nonprofit. But in the meantime, I would like to go back to some of the things that we discussed that on last week. Some of the viewers had asked questions as far as domestic violence, how common, like how many women or men experience domestic violence, and it's 1 in 4 women um, that experience a domestic violence relationship, and it's 1 in 7 men that experience a domestic violence relationship. You also have a number of youth um, teens that experience domestic violence relationship as well, and and it was quite interesting to know that there are 1 in 4 women, 27% have experienced domestic violence abuse since the age of 16. And I mean, domestic violence abuse, it doesn't always just start off physically. Domestic violence can start off emotionally. What a person say to you is verbal abuse. It starts off with verbal abuse, and then it just transpires, just turns into something else. Sometimes it could be physical, sometimes it could be um financial. The financial abuse is also a part of domestic violence abuse as well. And so um I was just really like trying to go back to some of the things that were asked on last week as far as the percentage of women that experience abuse, um, and a percentage of men that experience abuse. And most of the time, it's at the hands of a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Um, it's about 3/4 of a person's um, of women or men that experience family violence, family abuse. Um, and the age groups mostly that experience domestic violence abuse for women is ages 20 to 24. Um, and I think this topic is very important because, as you can see lately, there has been several incidents that led into a victim um, experiencing domestic violence abuse, and it led into death. And that's because some people don't know the signs that they are the red flags that shows them that they're experiencing a domestic violence abuse. And I'm gonna give you some warnings, signs of an abusive relationship, which is it starts off sometimes with putting the partner down, a dominated conversation, checking up excessively on a person. I saw that last week. Someone had mentioned that how their um, spouse was always constantly checking up on them. Um, and with my own experience, a person that is abusing you always plays victim. Um, they play the victim like um, you're always doing something to them when it's them doing something to you. Um, and most of the time, it can also start off as isolating you, meaning to remove you from your daily activities. You no longer hang out with your friends. You no longer hang out with your family. Or if you do, it becomes a problem. Um, and it's also sometimes it's acting as if they own you. Um, and most times the abuser is lying to make themselves look good. Um, and so those are some of the warning signs of being in a domestic violence relationship. Um, and so I had someone ask a while back, is an abuser actually sorry for what they have done to you? And in my opinion, from experiencing domestic violence, no, I don't think they are fully sorry. Their sorry is just to get you back in until they get you where they want you and is back to where you were at. Um, and then you know, like I said, the abuser, they will apologize, but that apology is in the form of manipulation. And, it's just to really get you back in. Had I known any better, I would have after that first experience, I would have just left the situation because as I stated before, it escalates to a deeper issue. Um, and so, um, and so, I also had questions about um. Hey Tanisha, you said sorry that you figured out what they were doing as far as what my abuser were doing to me. Can you ask that question again, Tanisha? You understand that?
I'm sorry that you figured out what they were doing.
Are you? Oh yeah.
Okay.
It took a little time, to figure out. Like the first time it happens, yeah, I'm sorry. Um, the second, well, I'm not to stop in the middle, but this is Monique. She is also going to be helping with the nonprofit, one of the workers with the nonprofit, the Live Dream Survivor. I'd like to welcome her onto the show.
Hello.
Finally. But to finish your question, Tanisha, yes. After the first time they apologize, after the second time they apologize, it's just a way to get you back in. And once you get back in, I mean, you're in, and it's not like, it's a little change, but then it goes right back to the same behavior. Um, Monique,
Yes.
what is your experience with domestic violence?
Um, it's been a while, but I had an abuser. Basically, he started off verbally abusing. It was in my early 20s, but he started off as nice, and then as we got down the line dating, it got verbal abuse. So then it turned to physical. Then it was more, uh, if you leave me, I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh, so he played the victim.
Yes.
That's the playing the victim that I was
Mhm.
saying earlier, as far as the person playing victim just to get you to come back to them, and then they start the same behavior all over again. Um, and so how long were you dealing with that?
3 years, and I finally said enough is enough. I'm like, I have to move on. I can't let my life, I couldn't live my life like that anymore. It was mentally taking a toll on me, so I had to, you know, cut it loose.
So did your family know anything?
Yes, my father knew, but I would lie about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I did.
Yeah.
It was like it seemed like my mother called every time it happened, right?
Mhm.
And so with you coming along with working with the nonprofit, what are you gonna bring to working with the nonprofit for Live Dream Survivor?
I would like to educate women on it, the experience. I would like to tell them to love yourself, because to me, you don't love yourself if you're accepting that behavior. Always put yourself first in any situation. So,
And it's hard. It's hard
it definitely is to love yourself,
yeah.
especially when they tear you down and you don't feel like you're worth anything. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tanisha, you're right. It is we're both happy that we were able to and to catch on to what they would do to get us back in. And so I've shared some of the steps that I had to take with removing myself out of the situation. What was your steps?
My mother finally said enough is enough, and she was like, "You're moving out. I'm not dealing with this. Y'all are like oil and water. Y'all don't get along." So we packed my stuff up while he was at a birthday party for his family member, and I never looked back.
So you pretty much had to go ghost.
Yes.
And so that's a lot of people has asked that question. Well, how do you get out of abusive relationship? And that's the best way that I could put it. Like you have to really like just move and go ghost on the individual, um so that they don't know where you at. Now, do it stops there? Sometimes no. In my case, it didn't, because I would get threatening text messages all the time.
See, I blocked him, but I have to keep interaction because of the situation we're in. But long story short, whenever he sent negative text, I would block him. I wouldn't talk to him for months. People like that. If it wasn't cordial or respectful, I wasn't dealing with it.
Right. And see, I had to, for a little time, I cut it off, but at some point, because we had kids together, I had to talk back to my abuser or whatever the case may be. But there are different ways of escaping, and that's why it's important to have a safe haven for victims that's experiencing domestic violence, so that they can feel safe and connect with you, to let their guards down and let you even know what they are dealing with. And so that's our ultimate goal for Live Dream Survivors, where we want to make sure that we have a safe space for women and children to come. And I include the children because most women that goes through abuse have children. And so I want to also eventually get on a topic discussing how children feel that's in the midst of those types of relationships, and the effects that it has on them. Because I know with my kids, um, how it had affected them. And sometimes with them being young adults, it still affect them. And so that's our ultimate goal. Um, Tanisha, I hope I answered some of your questions um regarding that. And
Let me ask you this. So, what if you don't have a safe space or anyone to talk to? Because it's hard to come and tell somebody what you're going through.
it is. It is. Even to this day, it's hard for me to talk to certain friends about what I went through. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so it's just, I guess it takes time for an individual to want to speak up and say, "Hey, I really need help. Can you help me in any kind of way?" And I think that's where it has to start from. Like I said, I so happened one day to be on Facebook, and one of my Facebook friends was making a comment about women staying in abusive relationship, and then it was a young lady that poured out and said, "I just experienced it," and I caught that, but I don't think nobody else caught that and really paid attention that she was crying out for help and what to do, what should I do? And so I paid attention to that. Whereas I'm thankful to God that I was able to say, "Hey, inbox me. I've been there. Let me help you." And because she was ready for that help, she accepted and she, vented, felt comfortable enough to vent. And I helped her with the steps as far as how to get out, how to get the restraining orders and all of that. And to this day, I still keep in touch with her, see how she's doing, see if she even went back to it. You know what I mean? Because it took me a while.
Right, especially if you depend on them financially.
Yeah.
So, if that's your financial support, it's hard to let it go
Yeah.
or to move on. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So have you ever experienced that
I
where
did. So I wound up going back to school, getting a degree, so I didn't have to depend on that person because I was living with that person.
okay.
So I wound up going back to
Kudos
school,
to you.
and I was like, "Yeah, this can't be life."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but have you experienced any body coming to you telling you that they were going through it?
yes, I know somebody recently that it happened to. Yes.
So I find it that I'm like a magnet to women that experience this type of abuse. Do you
Hmm.
find it like that for you?
No, I haven't experienced that, but I know people do come up to me, tell me like what they experienced. No, I'm not a magnet for it. I can't say that.
I felt like I have for like several years, and I'd be like, "Oh Lord, what am I supposed to do?" But God always gives me the words to say to these individuals to help them. Um, but because again, they got to be ready to get out of there, right? And so, um, I prayed and I asked God my purpose in going through it, and so this was one of the things that He said for me to do, which was to help women and children. And so I don't know if that was the the same for you, but
When you brought the idea to me, I was like, okay, but I really didn't want. I was scared to tell people about it, what I've been through, because it took a long time to heal from it, though.
and you
And
probably
I'm still
still healing
healing
from it.
from it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because it does.
So
It takes time.
yeah,
It's not an overnight step.
correct.
So I agree. It takes time, and sometimes even still to this day, I sometimes uh not nervous about the individual, but just you know in my mind like, dang, I really had to endure all that,
Hmm.
or man, my kids experience so much. Um, to me, I call it dysfunction
Right.
in the beginning of their lives. And so now it's just trying to talk to them and help them to understand that they could be, do better than that.
I agree.
What about you? Because you have one son,
I got
right?
one son.
So how was your conversation with your son about what was going on?
I never brought it up because he wasn't born yet.
Okay. Oh, it was before he was born. Got you. So do you kind of protect him a little more, do you think, because of what you experienced?
I do. Yeah, we talk about it a lot, about life in general,
Okay. Well, my time is winding up a little bit, and so I'm excited to work with you.
Me too. I look forward to talking about different topics.
Yeah. I'm excited because it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. As I stated before, if you paid attention to the news, it's a lot of people dying of the hands of somebody, whether it's a gun but it starts off domestic violence. And so if my goal is to try to educate as many as I can to help them get out. And I know a lot of times people question, what about the men that's going through abuse?
That's true.
And I would tell them the same thing that I would tell a woman. You got to get out. Because with a man, it takes their their integrity. They just
Definitely
not a man, feel like they not a man anymore. So, yeah, that's the ultimate goal. And again, I like to thank the WVTC family for allowing me the opportunity to do this show. And every week I'm going to have different things to talk about, as well as talking about the nonprofit Live Dream Survivors. And I'm a little nervous, but
Me too.
I guess as time go, I get a little better, right?
Right.
But yeah, I'm very excited about. I don't have no questions other than the questions I had last week. It was a lot, and I was very nervous last week. Where I'm trying to answer the questions and talk a little bit about some of the notes that I had for last week. But thank you, thanks everyone that
Thank
is
you.
on for tuning in, and we'll look forward to next week and talking more about domestic violence abuse. Oh,
Girl,
if there's, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that if there's anyone that is experiencing domestic violence and abuse, please feel free to contact us, Live Dream Survivors Incorporated, at area code 630-286-9514. We are here. We are available. We dedicated to creating a safe space for abused women and children recovering from the effects of domestic violence abuse. Please don't be afraid to reach out to us. Someone will be there to help you and direct you into the right direction. And thanks again for tuning in to the Live Dream Survivor Incorporated show.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago. An iNetworks communications station.